Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Julie and Todd Chrisley hater takes it to President Trump. Julie and Todd Chrisley have one eager hater. The hater decided to take their concerns to President Trump. Shockingly, a lot of others were on board for the same thing. There is a lot to unfold with what is going on right now. Keep reading to find out more about the situation. Julie and Todd Chrisley in federal prison. Julie and Todd Chrisley are currently in federal prison. They are spending their time serving their sentences. They are currently in prison for tax evasion and fraud. However, they are still not admitting to doing this. Savannah Chrisley has tried to convince people that her parents are innocent and are in prison for no reason. However, fans find a hard time believe this, especially since Julie Chrisley had a resentencing hearing and the judge did not shave any time off of her sentence. Todd wants his wife to be home with her children as soon as possible. Hater takes concerns to President Trump. Someone is not fond of the Chrisleys. In fact, they dislike them so much that they made a petition for people to sign, so that Trump will not pardon them and let them be free. They claim to have previously worked for the Chrisley family. It is unknown if this person truly worked for the Chrisleys. However, other fans agreed in the comments and said they would be signing. It seems as though the person who strongly dislikes the Chrisleys has made a petition for people to sign. This petition will be their attempt to keep Donald Trump from pardoning them. However, some fans do not think that is even a chance, or if it is that Trump will read the petition or care that people have made one. There are a lot of mixed opinions about the topic. The profile picture. A blurry image of Julie Chrisley in court, frozen mid-frown. The bio. Justice means no privilege. Not for celebs, not for criminals, not for the Chrisleys. Nobody knew the real name of the person behind the account, but within minutes of President Donald Trump's cryptic truth social post reading, a big Hollywood injustice may be corrected. Very unfair people in prison. Very sad. At truth over Chrisley pounced. Oh, Pila, yes? Are we seriously entertaining a PR deal for Todd and Julie Chrisley? At Real Donald Trump, have you seen the fraud evidence? Or are orange jumpsuits trending in MAGA land now? Within 24 hours, the tweet was everywhere. MSNBC debated it. Fox News spun it. And somewhere in Pensacola, Florida, a man named Leonard Brewster sipped his 5th cup of Maxwell House and smiled with grim satisfaction. Because Leonard wasn't just any hater. He wasn't just a guy yelling at his TV. Leonard was the self-proclaimed Chrisley watchdog, a retired tax auditor with a grudge and a Google alert for the word Chrisley. He still remembered the day the verdict was read. Guilty. It had felt like the Super Bowl for Leonard. He printed the articles, framed them, and even mailed a laminated copy to the Chrisley's old mailbox. Now, the possibility of a Trump pardon, that stirred him like nothing had in years. Leonard's fury brewed hotter than Georgia asphalt. I've waited decades for Americans to take financial fraud seriously, he muttered to his aging beagle, Nixon, and now Trump wants to make the Chrisleys martyrs. Not on my watch. So Leonard decided to go full throttle. He drafted a 12-page letter addressed to President Trump himself, printed it in all caps, and underlined every mention of fraud in red. He mailed it to Mar-a-Lago twice. But then, his wildest move yet. He showed up at a Trump rally in Alabama with a giant neon sign that read, Toady Chrisley to a political prisoner. He's just a crook. Cameras caught him. The sign made the local news. Someone even shouted, hey, that's the Chrisley hater guy from Twitter. The next day, Leonard's mailbox overflowed with hate mail and death threats. One envelope simply read, "Keep Todd's name out your mouth." But Leonard wasn't scared. No, sir. He thrived on this. Meanwhile, word of the protest made its way back to Julie Chrisley, still serving time in Lexington. A correctional officer slid a folded newspaper onto her cot. She stared at the headline. "Chrisley critic takes aim at Trump. Says pardon undermines justice." Julie blinked. "Well, I'll be," she whispered. She showed it to her bunkmate, who simply smirked. "You've got fans and haters. Must be nice." Julie folded the paper, her jaw tightening. Because deep down, this wasn't just a headline. This was the kind of noise that could derail the one thing she'd started to begun lobbying for clemency. Julie had felt something unfamiliar stirring, a strange kind of optimism. She didn't know if it came from her daily Bible study or the stack of letters Savannah kept sending full of updates on lawyers and lawmakers, but she clung to it like a life raft. And now, this Leonard person, this man she didn't even know, was turning her into a meme. But Todd was furious. In the Pensacola prison where he was serving time, he was pacing his cell like a lion denied a pardon. "They always come after the loud ones," he ranted to his cellmate, who had long since tuned him out. "They see someone who's got style, who's got God, and they go for the throat. But this guy, this Leonard Brewster, he wants fame off my name." Todd sat down on his bunk, fuming. "He's jealous. He's jealous I looked better in a courtroom than he did at his granddaughter's birthday." Back at Mar-a-Lago, President Trump's team did see Leonard's protest. It had caused just enough of a stir to hit the radar. An aide dropped a folder on the former president's desk labeled, "Public Backlash, Chrisley Pardon." Trump flipped through it. Headlines, tweets. One TikTok where a woman yelled, "Don't free Toadie. He still OWE's me a KNEO." Trump chuckled. "I like Todd," he muttered. "He's flashy. He's got a little Trump in him. But this Brewster guy, yikes, not exactly a fan." Still, Trump loved a comeback story and controversy. Even better, he posted once more on Truth Social. "They attack because they're scared. Todd and Julie equals persecuted. America loves a second chance. Stay tuned." Leonard saw it. Naturally, and he exploded. He took to Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, even LinkedIn. He begged every journalist in the country to cover his crusade. He started a petition titled Block CHRISLEYCLE Mensi and got 65,000 signatures in one weekend. In one dramatic video, he stared into the camera, pointed at a framed picture of the Chrisleys, and declared, "This is not about politics. It's about principles. If Todd and Julie Chrisley get pardoned, then fraud wins. Then we all lose." His rants gained traction. He was invited on podcasts. A Netflix true crime doc offered to interview him. For a man who once lived for crossword puzzles, Leonard was now living his moment in the spotlight. But perhaps the most poetic twist came months later, when Julie's appeal finally made it to a judge, independent of Trump, independent of rallies or protests. In a small courtroom with no cameras, Julie listened as the judge reviewed arguments. No flashy suits, no celebrity drama, just facts. Outside the courtroom, Leonard waited with a sign that read, "Justice is not a reality show." And inside, Julie finally said the words that Leonard had never expected to hear. "I made mistakes, and I've paid for them. But I'm also still human, and I want a chance to do better for my children and for myself." It didn't change Leonard's mind, but it made him pause. Because for the first time, the woman on his protest sign wasn't just a symbol. She was real. And maybe, Just maybe, that was enough to make even a hater see things a little differently.